Well, hello there, friends. I come to you today with a fresh face and a fluffy fro. It's been a while, and I'm creating this video because I needed to really inform you on what has been happening, catch you up, not just over the last couple of months, but have a high courage conversation with you and myself about the last couple of years. And my content is so reflective right now of where I am, and it's so raw, it's so real. It's not easy to be honest with yourself. I think hard conversations aren't hard for the other person. It's hard because it means you have to face your own realities, right? Especially when you're great at compartmentalizing, which I am. And so I have been delaying this video long enough and delaying all the actions behind the changes that I'm going to talk about long enough that today is the day that we are just going to move forward. Now, as you know in the title, I have a number of things that I really want to talk to you about, and I am trying to avoid crying. And to preface this information that I want to share with you, I go to therapy, I journal, I work through my emotions on my own in the back end. So I really want to make sure you know I will not be airing all of my tea, spilling all of my, personal emotional processing on this very public facing platform. However, I mentioned some years ago that I've always wanted to be a little more candid in my conversations. If you followed me from my podcast in 2020, you would know that was the most transformative year of my life. And I really wanted to create a similar experience, but I thought a couple of years ago it was going to be in a newsletter. But the honest truth is I just wasn't in the right space to be that honest with myself at all. But the thing about the things that I'm going to share with you today, especially grief and burnout, they have a way of really making you come to grips with where you are and what you need to do if you want to change and move from where you are, right? To really transcend your situation. So I say that to say, while I am going to continue, everything I'm talking about today in this video is all connected to the future content. I'll still be talking about a number of things I'm always talking about, just much more candid, much more reflective of so many things that just feel a little more aligned and like me. But my personal experiences for these particular topics will be shared in my Substack, which the link is below. I am exclusively walking you through my challenges, my lessons learned, my process, the way I think, the way I am, experiencing all the things I'm talking about here today, all of them exclusively in this Substack. And if you really want to have this really raw, candid, kind of coffee chat with a girlfriend feel, click the link to get to that. So as I shared in the title, my mom died, and she died October 17th, 2024, a week before my birthday. And if you've followed any content that I've shared here lately, you would have seen that I was training for a half marathon or a full marathon on my birthday weekend. Obviously that didn't happen. I was a whole mess that week. But my mom died, and it was sudden. It was unexpected. I live in a city with no family support. It was just my mom and I. And what I've never fully shared ever is the depth of support, especially over the last 3 years, I've had to offer to her. So it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. 2023 was the year I thought for sure if she was going to go, it was going to be 2023. And she survived that year, thank God. A lot of people spoke death over her, and I was not one of them. I made her fight, but boy, was I coming to an awareness that I needed to prepare myself. It was like a whisper that the wind was shifting, winter was coming, and I needed to get ready. And I didn't think 2024, I came into that year thinking that meant as I turned 40, I was ready and preparing myself for a new leaf and a new assignment, this shift that I was ready for from God. And I didn't know the cost of all of that would be my mom. But if that's the assignment, that's the assignment. That's her right here. I'm gonna try to lift this without shifting this. That's my mama right there, and decided to tap out a little bit early from this. So that happened, and I tell you, to die right before the holidays is so petty. It is so petty. It's so petty. But the thing about that is, grief isn't an equal experience when you are responsible for the transition of a life whatsoever. I have my notes. Let me turn this around. I don't want to lose sight of everything I'm talking about. And I was responsible for everything. I was her point of contact, primary caregiver, patient advocate, all the things in her life. And in her death, I was responsible for all of it. The clean outs, the coordination, the legal, all of it. And I have family who came in just for the service that I coordinated. But I say that to say, with the holidays, transitioning her life, I felt as if while she died in October, I had an opportunity to kind of defer and hide behind all the things I had to do. I was calling it my dead mom checklist until January. And January hit and it was like, whew, girl, you gotta do something else because this ain't working. This compartmentalizing, this pushing through that you do so well and have done so many years before, it's not working. So we gotta do something different. But what that did was inform me at this time of a reality that I didn't have, that I was in caregiver burnout. If you're new here, I have 4 kids under the age of 12. I had 2 pandemic babies. So right now they're 3 and 4, almost 5 and 3. But when my mom really started to pivot in her health, they were 1 and 2. And I was still breastfeeding the 1-year-old. And I was taking my mom to her appointments, pushing her around in her wheelchair, 2 babies on my hip, you know, and doing all the things by myself and still being married and still trying to have a social life and having clients and having to worry about money and all the things. And it wasn't until January that I realized what I was experiencing. It wasn't just grief. It was complete caregiver burnout. And at the time, I was working with amazing clients. They were so kind and considerate of what I was going through. I shared probably a little more information than I would have so they had context around all the life transition activities that fell on me. And they were so patient. But when January came, I was fully aware that I didn't have it. Like, I didn't have it whatsoever. And I gave myself at that time 30 days to get myself back together. 30 days turned into 2 months, and 2 months honestly was about to turn into 3. That's why I just decided to record this, get this out. It so happened to be posted on the day of her birthday, her first heavenly birthday, which would have been her 60th birthday. My mom wasn't even 60 years old when she died, which is wild. You know, when she decided to tap out from this. I have to share this with you though before I lean into anything else, that I'm in my Substack, I'm talking so much about my internal process with grief and caregiver burnout and so many things that I'm doing because they're informing the things I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But I have so much peace with her death, so much peace with her death. How she died in 2023 when everyone was speaking death over her, different story. But again, I listened to the whisper God was telling me to do, and I prepared myself internally, spiritually, and I reinforced myself. I dug really deep into my faith because I knew I had to equip myself, something I've been praying away, which wasn't just her death. It was her dying, and it was just me. It's just me and having to do it by myself and be responsible for everything by myself. But I looked that scary monster in the eye and I did it. When I tell you, I have only had a handful of times in my life that I've ever been incredibly proud of myself and felt like a badass. That was that. You know, I did this hard thing, but I have so much peace in my heart with her death. I'm going to share this story really quickly and try not to cry, but we have fought through so many situations medically, and I've always been the one to remind her, like, Ma, you cannot let me have to tell these 4 babies who are obsessed with you that you are not here anymore. You have got to get out of this hospital, right? And it's always activated her. We've always had a pivot, right? But in this really like fast de-escalating situation with her life, that last week, I realized that winter wasn't coming. Winter was here. The wind wasn't shifting. It had shifted. And I had to help her to let go because I knew she was holding on, because she knew the weight this would be for me because we talked about it before. And she was in so much pain, and I gave her permission to go. But one of the things I shared with her, I said, Ma, I just want you to know I'll be okay. But that what an honor it is to carry this pain if it means to free you up. Like, what an honor to carry this so that you're free of pain. And it is. It's a total honor. I'm going to stop talking about this because it's going to make me emotional and I don't want to cry right now. So I have peace with her death. I'm going to fast forward because I'm getting emotional. I don't want to talk about this anymore. But anyway, she died a week before my 40th birthday, and turning 40 is something I've been looking forward to for so long. My 30s were so, like, literally, I became a mom when I was 29. I've had 2 like later first trimester pregnancy losses, long-term breastfeeding mom at least a year for all 4 of my babies. That meant I spent almost 9 years of my life in some type of, between 29 and 38, almost 9 years of my life dedicated to a child or being pregnant. So 30s for me was like, you know, deep into the caregiver. And then my mom got sick at 38 and I spent the last 2 years of my 30s, you know, caregiving. And so I was ready for a change. And so I've always been excited about 40. I'm so excited about 40. But it brought forth this loss and all the things, brought forth this sudden awareness I had. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It brought forth this sudden awareness that I had of a low self-esteem that I didn't realize I was dealing with. I know that confidence is something that is in the eye of the beholder sometimes, right? But for me, I didn't realize how much work I had to do on my self-esteem, how much I had been blocking myself. And so many things with, even related to my mom, mother wounds and hurt and deceit and unmet expectations in life and business and marriage and all these things that were really taking a toll on me. And I didn't know it until I took this break. I took this break and I forced myself to realize it. So I was so excited about turning 40. And then my mom died. And then this awareness started to come into place. But the weight of all of this over the last couple of years is an explanation of why I've been so inconsistent. And to be honest with you, when I sit and look at Nisha over the last 2 years, I see why she's been feeling so scattered and all over the place and struggling with weight loss and all these things, because like the denial of burnout, it wasn't even a denial. I just didn't know. I didn't know. And I really wasn't in a space to give myself permission, you know, to be in a feminine energy of allowing life to just take me and not trying to force and push, which was a requirement. You know, the thing about identity awareness that I've come to realize is that you become who you need to be to survive burnout. You become who you need to be to survive the hard, challenging seasons of your life. And I became who I needed to become in those seasons, you know? Motherhood in itself makes you operate in this really masculine energy, right? And so I'm exploring what this feminine energy looks like for me. I'm not really a girly girl. I've always been a tomboy my whole life. And so the traditional way of talking about feminine energy for me never resonated. But now it's clicking. Like, I'm finding my flow. I'm finding what that means for me. And I'm in this glow up season though that I have to tell you about, because with the loss and the grief and the pain and the hurt also came freedom. It also came freedom. And I'm allowing myself to experience the freedom as well as the daily grief and struggle that I'm working through, right? And in 2024, as you saw in my videos, becoming more aware of that whisper from God to take better care of myself and my hearts, I finally lost weight. I lost 20 pounds. I didn't share this publicly, I don't think. I lost 20 pounds. I gained a few when she died, but I'm right back into my morning routines and all of that right now to take care of myself once again. And I'm so excited about that. My goal is to go for 30 extra pounds this year. And I know I can do it because I'm not going to think my way into this. I'm going to behave my way into this. So I know I'm going to do it. Another pivot. So pivoting into this glow up season, I want to share with you a little bit because it's also going to be some of the content I'm going to talk about exclusively in my Substack. You're going to see my experiences, but on this channel, I'm definitely going to talk more holistically about all of these topics as it relates to you. And I know that God gave me this experience and these awarenesses so that I can also share this with you. And I'm definitely going to make sure I share that with you. Another realization I had a couple of years ago that I'm finally putting into action is no longer wanting to work with clients and wanting more customers, at least for now. I have a substantial goal that I'm going after that I'm not going to share here, but I'm ready to allow that goal to realize. And it means I had to pivot from fractional support. You've heard me talk about lead generation and all these other things. I frankly think if you're transitioning from a corporate career, if you have a professional skill set, getting into fractional work is the easiest money-making activity you can do, even as a side hustle. So it's very easy money. If you're fortunate enough to find the right clients, it's very easy to do. But I am ready to lean into the direction of the micro education training that I kicked off starting, and then life just started to do this with me in my direction, and that scatteredness that I started to feel. And I wasn't trusting this desire that started off with the podcast in 2020. It started off and then it just, life took it to wherever it went. But we're here and I'm excited about that. I'm leaning in because I realize this, how much I've been hiding, not just from this information that I'm sharing with you, but hiding, protecting, and thinking that by me being so honest about what I'm going through, it's not honorable to my mom. It wasn't honorable to, like, I was so, just being honest, just so obsessed with looking competent, you know, being in control of my strength, that I am a strong woman, but not wanting to be doubted in my strength. But I was so committed to that eventually it just became a skin that I was in. It wasn't even a reality any longer. And I started to not trust myself and hide from the things that were challenging me to learn a new strength and a new way of doing things, still honoring these things that mean a lot to me, but in a different way. I was being challenged and stretched. So I'm leaning in, because when we hide, they win. Whoever they is to you, they win. So in this glow up season, no more hiding, no more compartmentalizing, no more expecting our spouses, our friends, public social media to be our therapy. We're sitting with ourselves, we're working with ourselves, we're working through ourselves, we're giving permission to our desires, we're unleashing, you know, we are allowing in this season of life. And that's this glow up season that I'm in. I'm old, I'm 40 years old. I'm a mom of 4. My mom just died. I am in the most challenging season of life that I can think I've ever been in. And I am still excited, you know? I'm so excited because this was the assignment, and God makes no mistakes. I didn't know what it would cost, but it's the assignment. So I say that to say, I thank you so much for rocking with me and riding with me up to this point. If you're still watching this video, if you don't want to stick around for the future content, it's still very much the same topics, but much more candid, much more of this glow up, stretchy season that I'm in, to not just inform you as a solopreneur, but so that you can also feel more empowered and more freedom and allow yourself to find yourself in the thick of this chaos, because you absolutely can. And it's absolutely what I feel. My Substack though, I've been writing my way through this grief. My Substack is fire. I don't go back and read or listen to any content that I create. But when I tell you, rereading to coach myself, to counsel myself, to parent myself, my content in my Substack, chef's kiss. It's fire. I encourage you to click the link, subscribe. It's exclusive and paid content. But I wanted to really quickly get this video out. I will be back creating content on this platform related to all the things I've just shared in this glow up season. If you're looking for your glow up season, if you're 40 and over and you're ready and you're willing to do the work and you're just ready I'm ready to. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining with me. If you opt out, that's okay too. But if you want to stick around, make sure you click subscribe and the notification button so that once I start creating the videos again here in the next week, you get notified. I welcome your prayers. I ask to keep me in your prayers. I'll keep you in mind. But I will see you very, very soon, my friend.